I guess this is the last dance. Until the next one. Venom: The Last Dance released this past weekend in 2024 and is directed by Kelly Marcel, who made her directorial debut with this movie, but is known for her screenwriting credits for Saving Mr. Banks, 50 Shades of Grey, and the previous 2 Venom movies, which you typically see in a franchise that has the same writer for every one, and it keeps losing directors, and the quality of said franchise just deteriorates over time. By the 3rd or 4th one, the studio heads are like, hey, you've been writing these for the last couple of years. Why don't you just direct it here, please? And this film is starring, once again, Tom Hardy playing the part of Eddie Brock and also Venom, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Juno Temple, Rhys Ifans, Stephen Graham, Peggy Lou, Clark Bacco, and Alana Ubik. And also Andy Serkis was announced to be voicing the role of Null, who is the film's bad guy. Quote-unquote bad guy in here. I say in quotations because, yeah, he shows up and he's like, I'm gonna get the codex and I'm gonna send all of my minions. But when it comes to Null actually doing something, I guess, spoiler alert, he just sits there. He was like Thanos for all of Phase 2 during the MCU, and everyone was talking about the Infinity Stones, and he just kind of sat there and said, hey, go get those for me, until he decided to, no, I'm gonna do it for myself. That's what this Null guy is doing. He's looking for this codex, and it's just sitting there. The movie ends, and he's still just sitting there. He makes an idle threat to us that, oh, now I'm going to do something evil. I'm sorry, I should probably get into the plot summary before I get into all of the things that I liked and a lot of the things that really annoyed me about this movie. Eddie Brock has returned with Venom from another dimension, and while he was gone has been framed for murder of the cop from the previous movie Let There Be Carnage. You remember that cop? Yeah, I didn't either. But anyway, he's framed for murder, so he's on the run trying to clear his name, and he thinks he can do that by hitchhiking all the way to New York City. Well, along the way, he finds out that Venom is actually the carrier of something called the Codex, that this evil person by the name of Null in another universe/galaxy wants, so that he can claim dominion over the world, or multiple worlds, or the universe. They just want to conquer everything, whoever this Null person is. So yay, Venom is finally a trilogy, because that's what all superhero action films need to be for some reason. I'm actually going to preface this by saying right off the bat, well, not right off the bat, but just, you know, earlier on in the review, is that I actually like this one out of the entire trilogy. I like this one the most, mainly because we don't have the annoying side characters like his ex-girlfriend/fiance and then her new fiance in the mix. Eddie's not going after her, trying to win her back or whatever. It's just Eddie and Venom being themselves together, and they're basically on a road trip. And where it all leads to Area 51, which apparently is being decommissioned by the President of the United States for whatever reason. You know, you have a secret facility that people know about, but no one actually has access to, and I feel like it's going pretty well. But out of nowhere, the President's like, no, we gotta decommission that and do something different because reasons. But anyway, their journey leads them to the old Area 51, where it all builds to a Venom showdown with these henchmen minion things that are invincible. But we basically get a whole bunch of Venoms kicking ass and doing cool things. Well, I guess not kicking ass, they kind of actually sucked in that fight. But I do like this film as opposed to the previous 2 movies. The Let There Be Carnage one, don't even get me started on that. I rewatched the previous 2 films before I watched this because I wanted to be informed and reminded of who these people were. And I remember hating Let There Be Carnage, and I watched it again, and my god, I feel like it got worse over time. That's how bad it is. In this film, the pacing and the editing is still a little choppy like what we had with Let There Be Carnage, but I think that this film showcases more of the relationship between Eddie and Brock. But I think this film really lends itself to the relationship between Eddie and Venom. We don't see a lot of Venom in here, actually, not until the very end. For the first act, the first half of the second act, it's really just Tom Hardy walking around and you hear Venom's voice, but we really don't see Venom in the whole getup, everything, until the final act. Tom Hardy's doing his strange, weird shtick that he's been doing for the previous 2 Venom films. It's quirky, it's strange, but somehow it does work. It is charming. And I do like his vocal work when it comes to Venom. I think that's actually really cool. It's been really great for the previous 2 films, and it continues here. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I don't know what he's doing here. It's like, why did we put him in this movie? He really did nothing. I think he ended up pushing a button in the end, and that was it. That was his character arc. He didn't like the symbiotes. He didn't like Venom. And then in the end, he liked them, and it's okay. These Sony, Venom, Marvel, Spider-Man movies have done a masterful job of putting out marketing that makes me feel so underwhelmed that by the time when I go to the theater and I watch the movie, my bar of expectations is so low that when I watch it and I go, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, just for it being that, it exceeds all of my expectations. Except for Madam Web. Madam Web was actually worse than the low bar that I had set for it going into it. But this movie continues that. The marketing behind this, the trailers haven't been anything special. And then I see the Rotten Tomatoes score and all the other reviewers just kind of bashing this thing or saying like, oh, the first 2 films are the best and this one, I don't know what they were doing. When I get all of that, and by the time I go see the movie, I'm like, this probably is not going to be great at all. And then I watch it and I go, oh, that was actually okay. And because it's okay, it exceeds my expectations, and it's just like, wow, that was amazing. In the end, Venom: The Last Dance, you may feel that it's an underwhelming last dance for this character. Is it really the end for Venom, or will we potentially see him in a later Sony Spider-Man movie, or would we see him in, say, an Avengers Secret Wars? The possibilities are endless with it. I don't see this being the last dance. I know they're calling it the last dance the last time around, but I mean, with that teaser, with the villain saying, I'm coming to get you, I mean, how could it not be? I'm gonna give Venom: The Last Dance 2.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed. And I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal.
So guys, if you've seen Venom: The Last Dance, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.